front of the line, and he looks up at Aunt Rosemary and he says, "You know Kenny killed a chick?" Did you hear that? She looks at me and goes, "Well, why would you do that?" And I had really no real explanation, and I didn't want to tell her the whole story. But I didn't really mean to do it.
I saw lights, a visual aura. In fact, it was out at the farm, and I thought I had fireflies. It was in the summertime. I thought I had fireflies even caught in my hair or something at first. And the doctor said, "Well, have you recently fallen?"
Right, because he would come in the afternoon. That's okay.
Pretty green one. Maybe somebody else should be doing the hanging. I have a probable diagnosis of Alzheimer's, and I just accept that I have that, a particular strain of it. But I don't want all the symptoms that go with it, and I think there is a lot we can do to reduce the symptoms.
No one knows how many people are affected by Alzheimer's disease, but the National Institute on Aging estimates it affects more than 5 million Americans, and as the population ages, that number appears to be rising. In 2007, Mary Kay Baum, her sister Chris Van Ryzen, and others founded a group called forMemory. forMemory is a network of people, like the Baum sisters, affected by early onset cognitive challenges. These changes affect more than just the individual. The Baum sisters know this firsthand as they cared for their mother, Beulah, who died from Alzheimer's disease at age 74.
A big part is that I feel physically I can be here. I was going to the Falls Clinic because I was falling on unfamiliar stairs or, steps in cities. And now I feel as agile as ever.
I feel so at peace here. It reminds me of being a part of the whole human journey, for justice. And I feel very comforted that my little efforts will continue.
People have not heard persons with Alzheimer's talk. It's been hidden away. People don't even look forward to wanting to talk to somebody with Alzheimer's. I would be sitting in a large meeting with the Secretary of Corrections and other important people, and I would lose my train of thought in the middle of a sentence, which we all can do. But when it happens 2 or 3 times in 1 hour, it is getting in the way of my work. And as I discussed this and the early symptoms that I had with the same neurologist, researcher neurologist, he told me that it sounded like the job was really killing me. I mean, it was making me worse, the stress. It's a rare opportunity. I didn't have that opportunity except with my sister. But I didn't have a group. I didn't have an adult education to go to hear about this possibility. The most important thing that I want to stress to you today is if you've met one person with Alzheimer's, you've met one person with Alzheimer's. It is affirming. I know that it's invariably going to be enlightening to others and that they're going to express that to me. So in that way, it's easy. In another way, I'll be tired afterwards. But but it's a good tiredness.
Early onset clues, instead of clues from, I wonder if you put that first.
All I wanted to be was real. I didn't care what the diagnosis was going to be at that point. I just wanted to be real. I wanted to be believed. Because not being believed, if the doctors don't believe in me, then how can they treat me? No. I have to be believed.
And that just wasn't a 3-week period. This went on for
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, it's tough because it's hard for her to talk to me on the phone because it's hard for her to just focus and be able to really have a conversation over the phone like that.
It's one of those things where you just kind of look at these things and hope for the best. And the one thing, though, that's different is that this may have happened to her mother. Nobody knows. It was never talked about. That's why she's so big on this thing now about having people be verbal, say what's going on, put these things down so that there can be an understanding, how these things progress, because for the most part, it's after the fact we piece these things together.
And I'm Charlie Snyder from the St. Louis, Missouri area, and we're part of forMemory. When I couldn't remember where the equipment was on the fire truck, then that would be endangering somebody else because speed is of the essence. And so when it hit that point, I had to face it and deal with it. So I went out seeking a diagnosis. He brought us in the room and told us that I had early onset Alzheimer's, which was totally out of the out of the blue for us. We hadn't even been thinking along the lines of Alzheimer's. In fact, at that time, I didn't even know you could get it that young. I wasn't familiar with the early onset either.
And your initial reaction was what?
I guess shock, because like I said, we weren't really thinking that. It was about an hour and a half drive from Columbia to our home, and I don't think Barb and I spoke but maybe once on the drive home. It was just like we didn't know what to say. We were just shocked.
Well, this is a great program.
These town meetings have been starting in different parts of the country, and the main point is for people with early onset especially to speak and tell our stories.
Right.
A town hall meeting focusing in on the special needs of younger people with dementia.
Too often I hear, even from our association on a national level, not so much at our local level, that this is a disease that robs personhood from the victim. Well, I'm still a person, and I'm not just a victim. I'm an active consumer. I insist on doctors listening to me, and I will fire them if they don't.
More than an organization, forMemory represents a new movement of people. Not content to sit on the sidelines, they advocate for prevention and treatment before serious consequences occur. Through their own experiences, they encourage people to watch for subtle physical and neurological changes and to act on these changes, and to stay connected to each other. While the goals of forMemory may seem simple, groups like this face the challenge of what many believe. Alzheimer's disease, while frightening and life-changing, is not necessarily a death sentence. With therapies and coping strategies, and yes, hope, those affected can experience a fulfilling life. Some say no one survives Alzheimer's. Then what do we call these people?
Prevent us from doing the exercise, and those have to be attended to. And that's what I've been stressing a lot to doctors.